Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream scene, episode number 39. Hope you guys are doing well.
39?
I'm joined here. Yeah, I know. We got to do something special for 50, I think. Getting there. But I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, the Hunter Wild. What's up, Hunter?
Hi. A good day today, I think, is what's up. And
Okay.
won't you be surprised? A good show. I'm very excited for the show today, and I am uniquely excited for the show today because we have a more open format to the show as opposed to specific targeted subject matter. And I really want to see how that flows. It's like it's always this enjoyable experimental thing. You got to push those boundaries, even when they're tiny little ones. We have two magnificent friends, guests, lovely broadcasters to join us for that today. Hi, Spofie and Coruscating. Would you guys mind introducing yourselves? Spofie, we'll start with you. Who are you? What do you do? What you bound?
I'm Spofie, or I also go by Sophie. I stream 7 days a week. I'm currently doing like a 2-year challenge. I'm on day 565 tonight. So we're getting there.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So we're moving forward with that. I stream Final Fantasy 14 mainly, which is an MMORPG. It's like the Final Fantasy one. But I stream like other RPGs as well. We do a couple of variety nights. So yeah, that was me.
That is really interesting. Coruscating? What you got?
Hi, I'm Coruscating. I stream a lot of The Sims and other simulation games. I stream usually 6 nights a week. My channel is home to the cutest emote on Twitch. I love everything cute.
All right, which one is that?
The cutest.
Obviously. Loco, what a silly question.
Oh, yes, of course.
John's got my back.
Oh, my goodness.
That's adorable. I'll agree. I agree with that.
It's pretty dang cute.
So yeah,
active.
For today's show, we're gonna be taking your questions. We've got a couple of topics that we want to talk about, and we're gonna take your questions because we totally did not forget that we had a show to do, and we're not super.
We were perfectly prepared for this particular show.
Exactly.
This version of it is what it's spot on. It's on target.
So if you guys have any questions or any topics you guys would like to touch on, feel free to throw it in chat. We'll try to grab them and throw them in our Discord list to get to. And I think we'll start with I guess what Spofie wanted to talk about, the Twitch bounty board. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you want to talk about?
Before we get into that, there is a question from Tori Wood that says, "What is it like being so famous?" And
Tori should tell us about that.
Okay, yes, bounty board.
So yeah, I brought up the bounty board stuff because I wasn't 100% sure how many people had access to it. When I brought it up in my channel, it seemed like there were, especially viewers, had no idea what it was because a lot of people weren't necessarily like talking about it because you don't have to. You just have to put #sponsored. You don't have to address it. There's like no requirements. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack between like no requirements on like what you have to talk about. I know there was a Twitter thread about how like hosts inflate viewers for it. So I find it very interesting because there's a lot to unpack with it.
Yeah.
Sure. If you guys don't know what the Twitch bounty board is, it's basically Twitch is trying to get into tapping into like the ability to work with games to sponsor streams. Not even games, but a lot of their own stuff too. Mm-hmm. It's basically like a board that has different tasks for the streamers, and you get paid directly based on the number of viewers that you have during that segment. So these offers range from playing a game for an hour, or using one of like Amazon's products, or showing like literally a 5-minute sponsored segment where you just have to play like a 30-second ad and talk about it. So there's a lot of different types of bounties out there. And it's still very much in development. It's still, I think, considered beta. And I don't think every streamer has access to it. I don't
I was
think
trying to
we were
look at
talking
that
about that.
ahead of time. That on the FAQ, it definitely does not clarify who has access. Just that they were rolling out like an increasing. They were giving more access to more people based on a wait list as of May 31st, and it looked like that just is continuing to open up more and more. So I imagine that there are probably at least, I mean, considering how many the pool of partners and then the larger pool of affiliates, so there are probably some people that still don't have access to that yet, which would make some sense. I mean, affiliateship at the 3 viewership level, it doesn't necessarily make sense to open up a bounty board where there's a payout based on average viewership if you're looking at, you know, the 2 to 5 viewer range. So there's probably something like that in place.
Yeah, Ella is saying that she has it and she's in the EU. So I don't know now. I thought it was US only, but I guess it's just very much in the air.
One thing it does specify is English speaking,
Oh,
but it said that they prioritized the US waitlist people first and foremost as they started opening it up.
Right.
Is what I'm seeing on the FAQ.
I mean, that makes sense because every country has different laws regarding, you know, disclosing
Yeah,
sponsorships
that's
and
true.
stuff, plus like
Mhm.
with payments. And so, I mean, you see that with a lot of the features, like with Bits. Bits was the same thing, where it's like US only, and then they expand it out and stuff like that. So I think
Yeah.
they're just still working out the kinks.
And Steve's asked if it's a partner only feature, and the answer is no. I'm an affiliate and I have used the bounty board, but it's not open to all affiliates. I think you have to be invited and then apply to use it.
Oh, invited
Right.
first, and then you actually have to
Yeah.
follow up on that invitation
Right.
to say, yes, I'm interested.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There's been some interesting things revolving the bounty board lately. Anything that you guys have noticed that you like want to touch on? Trying to find
Yeah.
the tweets here.
The thing that I mentioned was the tweet talking about hosts counting for viewership. And then specifically under that, people started talking about hosts counting for bounties. Because things like hosts, front page, like being embedded somewhere, all those viewers count for it. Whereas like they
Yep.
don't count for partnership now, for example. So I don't know. I was quite surprised that they did because that's not technically like, I don't know, it doesn't really support the game if it's just like not actually a viewer who's there, I would think in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the hosting and ratings really interesting because I don't feel like half the time it's accurate at all. Like, you know, I don't think hosting honestly has contributed to viewership much recently. Rating looks like it does, but like the direct raid feature, but hosting, I mean, you'll see like I'll host someone and I've had like 300, 400 people in my chat and it'll say, look, it's hosted with 1 viewer. It's like, wait.
So they
what?
changed a lot of that recently, and I'm definitely not up to speed on it, but there are a couple of these are constantly moving qualities. And I feel like it's one of those things where you can turn into a clueless grandpa at the drop of a hat because of how fast some of those
Right.
qualities will change, where you're like, what? Where's my AOL account? I need to email the president. Like that kind of thing. Like you have no idea what's happening anymore because they're now like 3 versions of how hosting and rating works down in a couple of months or something. There's one of the factors is now if you're doing an offline host, like you're not hosting from, you were just streaming and you're going into do an informal raid, you know, the raiding that we've always done, but now there's a raid feature. So not talking about the raid feature. You just go in and just, you know, everybody posts their positive, uplifting raid message, and then you type /host, whatever, and you go and host that person. That's an online host. That should show the active number of viewers who are in the channel, and that should be reflected over there. Offline host is if that person that you just rated then goes offline 5 minutes later and you go host somebody else, that'll show on the pop-up, that'll show 1 viewer. In their own chat, it won't say any viewership at all. That's what factors they've changed.
They changed that? Okay.
Yeah. So that's an offline, that's what they're calling an offline host. And it doesn't, it'll still show up in the viewer count like for a second. You can have like a boost and then it'll drop right back down. But I don't know how some of those things work.
So weird. Also, I noticed that recently they stopped showing auto hosts in your chat.
I did notice
Yeah.
that too.
Yes.
for me, as someone who is trying to get partnered, can be very frustrating because those numbers, if I get viewers from an auto host, they don't count towards my partnership viewership, but I don't know that I got an auto host. Like I just, because they don't
Yeah,
show
so
up
you're
there.
looking at metrics that reflect an action that was taken that somebody did for you, but you don't have. You're looking at you. All you see is metrics that you're using to judge whether or not you're doing something right or wrong, and you're like, hey, it was bigger, or whatever the viewership metrics. But there's a particular quality that you're missing the information about that is really important for your judgment.
And then I
That's
can see it
interesting.
after the stream, but I can't see it until then, like in my where my viewers came from. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh wow, I had a really good night. And then I'll realize like, oh, I got a pretty decent auto host from one of my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on one side, I get it for like big streamers who like will get millions like that just spam the chat with auto host. But like for me, like auto host is like an opportunity for me to like thank that person and realize, oh, this person's auto hosting me. Like I need to make sure like I raid them or host them sometime. So yeah, I mean, I liked having that in chat because my bot would automatically pop something up, be like, oh, thank you for the host and stuff. So I wish they would bring it back like as a setting, like display auto host notifications.
I think another issue with that on the downside is if Twitch if it's not popping up in chat, I don't think that it would I don't remember what the terminology is. I don't think it gets reported elsewhere. So I don't think that like Streamlabs or Stream Elements or whatever your other bot is can even see it. I don't even think it's possible for you to go into a third party thing and go, hey, I'd really like to know, because I'll have, my who followed, who tipped, whatever, that alerts thing or up for Streamlabs. And that's not even going to show me auto hosts anymore. The only thing that proper auto host through Twitch, right? You can have a bot like DeepBot has its own auto host feature. It will do the /host in your chat that is effectively an auto host, but it shows up like a regular host. Like that's like a workaround for other people to do or for you to do for other people when you're having an auto host thing. But there's still no control that you have as the streamer for what you see for that stuff.
Yeah, I use the MooBot auto hosting system because I like there's a couple different settings, like you can prioritize your list or like choose to automatically rotate after a set amount of time, which I really like because I want to make sure like it with Twitch's auto host system is like you auto host someone you're like locked onto that person until they go offline. And so with the MooBot one, it like I have it like move around every 30 to 60 minutes where it's like I make sure that I'm getting it like everybody as much as I can, while still having it be mostly effective. So we did talk about sponsorships. Grid actually asked a really good question. Grid asked, I have heard a lot of talk about sponsorships, but no one has answered the question, what happens when you're a small streamer and no company will partner with you? Example, I have 1K plus followers. I tried applying to sponsorships, but no company have answered back to me.
I think you've got a couple of questions there, right? Like, what's the point of the sponsorship in the first place? Are you looking to get a sense of like for your own self-esteem, like professionalism is like, I've made it because I have, somebody who wants to sponsor me. Is it like talking to friends and family? Same sort of thing. This is something I know myself is like, you have this self-esteem issue where somebody's like, oh, hey, what do you do? It's like, oh, I stream on Twitch. It's like, oh, cool. So do you make money off of that? And you're like, well, so what do you do? Do you play video games all day? No, it's more complicated. Okay, so like, what are you doing actually? Like, it gets into a really kind of complex kind of question there. And is it actually? Are you actually aiming for revenue generation itself? I think you have to ask the question first of what you're trying to achieve with it before you can dive into the other factors. Because it may be that based on what you want to achieve, that affiliateship, sponsorship stuff doesn't do what you think it's what you really want out of it, which totally sidesteps the question. But I think it's
no, I mean, and that's where I would have started with it too. Is sponsorships are something where everyone wants to have. Everyone wants to be sponsored by Razer or Corsair or something, but really, like it doesn't make a lot of sense for most people. Like your influence, I always talk about this with people who want to get sponsored. They really want to work with DX Racer or something. You have like a limited influential power, and the smaller you are, the smaller that power is. So if your influence is limited, do you want to spend it selling headsets, or do you want to spend it growing your community, growing your social media, and getting people involved in things that are more beneficial to you, like subscribing to your channel? Sponsorships at a very small level are usually not actual sponsorships. They are glorified affiliate programs, and then they call it sponsorships. It's changing, it's getting more clear, but usually what happens with sponsorships at a very small level is maybe you get sent a free product, and that's cool, but then
maybe.
you have to maybe. And then you have to sell. You'll get a percentage of sales. That's an affiliate ship. Like that is what affiliate marketing is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have this like limited influence, do you want to spend it pushing an affiliate link where you're getting like 3% of a headset sale? Like, or would you rather
and like one headset sale every 2 months? I mean, like
if you're lucky.
At my size, like I could push all day long and still like maybe not sell a damn thing in a month.
Yeah, would you rather like be like, hey, like you want to support the stream, you can sub. Like you get way more money from a single sub than you would from selling like a $70 headset.
And if it's about promoting products that you believe in, I absolutely suggest doing that regardless of affiliation.
Right. Do that,
And you can also get the Amazon extension where you can put all your hardware.
Oh, that's so good.
Not only
smart
do you earn
moves.
like money if they buy those products, if they click on your stuff and then they go buy other stuff on Amazon, you can get money for that too.
Like a little cookie thing.
Yeah.
So cookies. I love cookies. Delicious.
Yeah, I think it's important. Like you can talk about, like I know it was mentioned. I think Grid followed up with just wanting people ask him about his PC a lot, and he wants to like help them with it. Like you can talk about that stuff. Like talk about the stuff you're passionate about. You don't have to be affiliated with them. I think a lot of people. I mean, for me, I'm not willing to dedicate the amount of stream time it would take to like plug an affiliate link effectively and actually get people to like really use it. Like I don't want to like have that take over my channel. So like I'd rather just you know, use what I use and answer people's questions as they come if they have them.
I think that's a really important point too. There is like, how does it roll into your content, the nature of your stream itself? Are you like, when you think about it, when you imagine yourself doing it, are you taking time out from creating enjoyable content in order to pitch a product that you hope somebody will buy? When, you know, in a lot of ways, one of the things I keep coming back to is, have you first created the stream that people connect to? Have you first created the place that people want to be and feel connected to your personality and your recommendations? Like that's all the front-loaded work that could take even years of time to make the space where when people come in and they see you recommend a product, they go, oh, he recommended that product. She recommended that product. That's definitely a recommendation that I trust, right? The trust has to come first. And you probably have that with at least some people. We all hope to have that with at least some people. That trust has to come first before anybody's going to be wanting to invest in you and wanting to invest in the things that you're talking about and discussing.
Yeah. And, you know, the idea of sponsorships, like if you actually are seeking a real sponsorship, you recognize the difference between an affiliate link and a sponsorship. Like so if you get 10 viewers on average, how much do you think a company will pay you to plug their product X amount of times a month, have a panel below your stream, stuff like that? The work that you're going to do for a sponsorship is going to be the same as a streamer that gets 1,000 viewers. The only difference is you're getting paid a lot less, and it's usually money that's not going to be worth it for how much work you got to put into it. So sponsorships at a really small level, like for small streamers, is just not beneficial for you or the company. For the
you just get so much better use of that time that you would put in, and the effort. And I always want to go back to the sense of self-esteem. Like, what does it look like? What does it feel like when you don't sell anything? Like, that's just defeating and deflating. When like, I don't want to sign up for something where I don't have a guarantee that I'm going to feel good about it at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if money flows through. If I feel bad about it, I don't want to do it. And it makes me not want to stream, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of things that you can pile onto that. Doing the things that make you feel accomplished are always going to be better. And a lot of times that's past the first step. Like, the first step here is getting affiliateship, getting a sponsorship, whatever that happens to be. The second step, all the things that come after that, that's where I think we would all run into problems. And there's better work to be done ahead of time than seeking something that may, and even may reliably end up making you not happy.
I think that's like kind of what's interesting in comparison with the bounty board, though, because you don't have to like put that time in, which I know the tweet that we had referenced earlier talked about how it might not actually be very beneficial for companies to be putting their games on the bounty board.
Interesting conversation on that one. Yeah.
Because it was said that Twitch is overpaying people, first off. And second, when you activate a bounty board, you literally, for those who don't have it or don't know, there's a button on your dashboard. You click it. There's a game there. It says you have to get this many viewers to get the maximum payout. You need to get at least 50% to get any payout. And then you just activate it. You get a key. You only have to stream it for usually like an hour or something, and you get paid at the end if you had X amount of viewers, which you could literally be on the front page, just say, I'm going to put this game up for an hour, and then it'll go down, and you may not have actually even advertised the game at all.
Yeah.
There's no requirements. It says don't talk too negatively about it is like the only
No needless bad mouthing.
Needless bad mouthing. Yeah.
So where you're just going to trash the game without critique, which I think this is a good recommendation for any content creator. Is like, if you have something negative to say about it, go for it in a like tasteful and responsible way. That's not just like just dunking on it into some doo-doo butter. That critique is valuable. And then you have to let your viewers know that and there are many ways that you can do that, but you have to let viewers know that it's a bounty board type, that it's a sponsored type thing. That can take, you have to do one thing, which is put hashtag sponsored in your title.
It automatically makes you do that when you activate it. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true now. They just changed something about that. Yeah.
The last one I did like last week, it did that. I mean, they like, yes, I'm cool with this title, but like,
you had to like, it was like
you click a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So I think now it does that then. I don't know where the
they
line
changed
is.
something, but it wasn't. They still do that automatically, which is nice.
Mike is saying you have to push the button now.
I always thought you had to do that like anyways, so I didn't.
Previously, I think you only had to put hashtag sponsored in your title, and make sure that was like your saved title, and then for the course of the hour, it had to say that, and then you had officially started it. But now they require the click a button activation thing. And that's it. You can put hashtag sponsored in your title, but it doesn't do anything if you don't click the button.
Yeah, I mean, I the bounty board I think has a lot of great things about it, but also a lot of dangerous things about it. I think especially if they're going to make it so that anyone could theoretically use it. I think companies don't want to pay just anyone to stream their game. Like, that's why they usually don't. So, it's still in development. They're still working it out. So I'm really curious to see where it goes. I use the bounty board, but I've only done it I usually only do the 5-minute ads because it's like 5 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, I saw some people talking about how people have been already using it unethically, and it's already kind of coming to the surface, or people have been creating discords to purposefully inflate people's viewership when they're bountying. And it's just like, I don't know how they're going to address that, I guess.
Yeah. It's a complicated, there are complicated qualities, because on the one side, like we were talking about before, the requirements, the metric requirements can be wildly inflated, right? Because you got a crazy host twice last week that, that brought your viewership up to 2,000 people. And now all of a sudden the requirements, like it says that you have to have 800 viewers to max out.
Yeah.
And so, you could have had a really good week for your metrics, and it's going to read that really good week and it's going to convert that into requirements. At the same time, you need to get paid. You want to get paid. You want to participate in the bounty board, but it's not a person. You don't get to go like, hey, did you notice that last week it was this other kind of situation? Can we maybe get it back to, you don't get to have that conversation. So with some things like that, you're like, oh, guys, I really need some help to like hit the thing that would normally be perfectly fine and doable for me. But now it's like ridiculous. Do you mind? Is it unethical? Yes. Is it bad? No. I would say I would argue that there's a way in which you could say that it's not bad. The problem lies in the structure of the system more than it lies in how it incidentally gets used in a way that's outside of the rules. Because there's nothing that clarifies that. Like I would love to see them clarify, like, please don't try to, play the system. A lot of people aren't even paying attention to that. We just get blinders on and we're like, oh, we need to hit these numbers. How do we do that? And I don't think somebody's a bad person for doing that when they're not even paying attention to how it may actually be working the system. I would like to see the system refined more.
Yeah. And I'm sure we will see that going forward. We have a question from
So
Ophelos who asks, how do you stay motivated each day to come online and stream? Or what motivates you to stream each day?
Oof.
I kind of have a special situation with that since I've of set an expectation with the everyday thing,
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so that has helped a lot with that because I feel a requirement. I'm a routine kind of person. Like I like having a routine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Has very much helped with that.
I was gonna say, like, that speaks to it very, very highly, right? Like your motivations exist outside of what you need to do that day. You set a vision and a goal for yourself, and so then that becomes the reason for doing the thing. It's like the old I've been referencing this a lot, and I don't know who said it. Somebody asking a writer, like, where do you get your motivation to like write your stories or whatever? And he's like, or inspiration. And he was like, my inspiration shows up at 9 a.m. every morning, because that's when he gets up and starts writing. He doesn't have to know what he's doing that day. It's like, that's the scheduled time.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's good to stream at the same time, to have a schedule that's extremely set that you stick to. But when you actually do that and stick to it, like it becomes really habitual. And like, that's a big part of it, at least for me.
Yeah. What about you, Coruscating?
I'd say kind of the same thing. It's a routine for me, even though I don't stream every single day. But when I started streaming, it was just kind of like on a whim. I was like, I'll give this a try. And then and people kept showing up. So I was like, well, I'll just do this again. And then eventually it was like, I'd been streaming almost every day for a month and then 2 months. And now it's like, if I don't show up, I know there are going to be people who are disappointed. And not that like that keeps me from taking a day off if I feel like I need it. But if I can be here and I can stream, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. I feel like my motivation is just like the fact that I genuinely enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's made possible by, I don't look at my viewer count at all anymore. I stopped doing that. It's been really helpful for my mentality streaming. I'm not focused on the numbers. I don't really look at any stats, especially during the stream. And I've just been honestly just like sitting down, like playing games that I want to play and like doing things with the community. I think that's helped a lot. It's just like trying to eliminate things about the stream that stress me out. And like, so when I go and sit down and streaming, like I feel better from it. It actually makes my day to stream.
Yeah.
I know that I just have a disgusting drive. Like, and this is one of the things that we've been working on with the coaching aspect of our Patreon. And one thing that I keep coming back to a lot lately is like, how are my weaknesses tied to my strengths? I have an absurd strength in being able to, like, my drive is my alarm clock. You know, like I'll sleep for like 5 hours a night. I shouldn't do that. I wake up, I work from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to sleep. And that's like every single day. I rarely take days off. And I should take days off. You know, I rarely take time to myself, and I should take time to myself. My work-life balance is really gross. We did an entire panel at TwitchCon about work-life balance stuff. And I was the example of who not to be. And this is a weakness that is tied directly to a strength. My motivation comes from like that. It's a point of pride for me too, where I'm like, hey, I work really hard, and like I really know that I've got that work ethic, I got that gumption. But boy, does it kill some other stuff that I really need in my life. That's one of the things I'm working on. But it's that disgusting drive that I have to wake up every morning and start working.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's like I get that drive towards like working on things for the stream, but like I feel like for me being on stream, like if I was like I don't know, I like I've been enjoying the streams the most lately because I've been like the least worried about the stream, or the least like business oriented about like the stream itself, where it's like I'll do things behind the scenes where it's like, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm working like an extra 8 hours a day, like doing all this behind the scenes stuff. And then like, I'm just like, okay, this is actually like kind of like my break. And it's actually really worked out. It's, I've seen a lot of, I've seen like growth and just like happier. Like, so it's
good.
Been good. I did see someone in chat ask about the viewer count thing. Do you guys look at your viewer count? And you know, if you don't, why? Or if you do, why?
I do. Well, I keep mine hidden, but then like I'll peep it every once in a while, you know, like I'll kind of like do the little hover because it's like hover to view. But yeah, like every once in a while.
You cheater.
It's funny, but I used to do that actually.
I'm gonna shake the package under the tree.
I just like, I don't know. Sometimes it really does help with like me thinking when I do these things, like things are like, I don't know. It just, I like having some sort of idea of how what I'm doing might reflect. I know it's just a correlation. Like you can't say what I'm doing is causing this viewer count, but having those correlations does make me feel a little better.
Speaking of correlations,
I know. I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I've just always shown my viewer count. It never really bothers me much. Like maybe once a month or something, I'll go live and like no one will be there, and I'll be like, okay,
Yeah,
and that'll stress me out a little bit. But 99% of the time, I like look at my viewer count. I'm like, wow, I can't believe 40 people are watching me right now, or whatever. Like the other day I was ordering a pizza while I was streaming. There were 100 people just watching.
Yeah, people love watching me order a pizza.
It's like you guys are crazy. Thank you so much.
Like I'm not even showing you what I'm getting on the order because it has my address. You're just looking at my face while I'm looking at pepperoni.
Yeah, the viewer count just starts climbing.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but it works. I have to not look at my viewer count. The first person I knew who regularly watched his viewer count was Retro Gaijin. And I was like, why do you do this? He would comment on it too. He's like, wow, there's like 830 people in here watching. You all are dumb. This is really bad content. He would do stuff like that. And I'm like, he managed to take it and not have it affect him psychologically, but turn it into content. And like that by its right, because then it's comical, and that comment gives me a giggle, and people in there they're all doing lulls and stuff, right? And like that creates its own thing, which is really cool, which is really neat. For me, first thing that happens, its first stop in my head is, oh, I'm doing something really phenomenally good, or oh, I'm really sucking. And if it's the good thing, and then I check 2 hours from now and the count is lower, I'm like, oh, I'm doing something really bad now. It's like, it's that psychological roller coaster that I have to force myself to avoid by not getting on, by not watching the viewer count. On the other side, what effectively amounts to a viewer count for me is chat rolling. How much people are conversing. And that's something that I can have some control over, right? Because in the moment, if it's slow, ask an interesting question. or bring up some subject about what happened to you this week and make it relatable and then invite people to join into it, that kind of a thing. I can't control the viewer count. Can't do anything about that. If I see that it's low, I can't change my title to best stream NA and then have everybody just flood in.
Yeah.
So I used to do the same thing that Spofie does, is like I would hide my viewer count, but then I would peep at it, like especially at the end of the streams, which is dumb because that's usually when my viewer count is dipping because people are going to bed. People know that I'm ending. Like my EU viewers are going to sleep. And that I realized like that wasn't doing anything because I'm not really hiding it if I was just still checking it the whole time. So it really started to plague my mental health a lot. Like I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with the fact that I was plateauing or dying, and I was like, every single day I'd check my viewer count. I was like it was driving me crazy. It was really terrible. So I just stopped completely looking at all. Like I don't look at all. And I started peeping a little bit lately. But
you guys.
But I'm gonna stop again. But
I'm telling you, I tweet less when things are bad.
Look, but the thing is, what you mentioned about chat what I've started to tap into was I could tell when things were going well, and I would enjoy my streams if chat was like bumping, and maybe my viewer count wasn't as high as it normally is, but chat was having a great time, and that made me have a great time. And then I realized like exactly what you're saying is like that viewer count does not mean anything, because like if you have an opportunity for someone new to come into the chat and your chat is rolling, like it doesn't matter if you have 200 or 500 viewers. If chat's good, like that's a great opportunity to get someone new into your channel because they're having a good time. And it feeds off like your personality, and then chats like it feeds into each other, and then like I mean that's just only going to benefit your channel. So I really like the point that you made where it's like I'm in tune with the chat. Like if chat dies, like I recognize like that could just be because the game is slow. Like if I'm playing like Magic or something.
If I'm playing a strategy game or like Civilization 6, like nobody's talking.
Yeah, and I think that's important to recognize too, is like depending on the game you're playing, like if you're playing Overwatch, chat's probably gonna die even if you're like amazing player because everyone's just watching you play, right? Like people are just lurking. So I've focused more on chat interaction than like the viewer count. It's really helped my mental health so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you see that a lot, especially with smaller streamers, where it's like, they like stare at their viewer count with a microscope. They're like, okay, 10 viewers, 9 viewers. Oh God, someone left. Like, because that makes a big difference at that level. And I just some people can handle it.
Like 20% of your stream at the drop of a hat because 2 viewers leave. Like that's a huge freaking deal.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's most dangerous.
If you're gonna look at your viewer count, you really just have to like be really good at letting it go and not stressing about it. Because like I said, I've always like I watched my viewer count even when I was really little, and it was always just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have this many viewers. Like it goes up rather than bringing me down. I feel like I deserve even one viewer.
And this becomes a knowing yourself situation, which I think I always go back to. Like I make recommendations like never look at your view count, but there are some people where it has zero negative impact, and then it's obviously bad advice for. Well, it's just not good advice for them.
Right, it's not a hard and fast rule. But I think it's also the same thing as like if you're doing well, then you're like you're not your natural self. Like you're not you're just like you're like if I get a big raid, like I'll freeze up. Like I'm like, oh crap, like it's a lot of pressure. So I mean it could work both ways too. But yeah, it's not like don't ever look at your viewer count. Like it's depends on you.
I had this funny thing happen where at some point Streamlabs started sending emails that are like stats for your last stream, and for some reason I wouldn't get one every stream. I would only get one when I had a bad stream. It was driving me crazy, like because I wouldn't remember it, and then I would have like the lowest viewership of the month, and it'd be like stats for your last stream, like red arrow. Like, God. Okay, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a question. There's a question about what do you do to combat view bots? Just real quick. One, do not comment on it. That's like a formal recommendation that Twitch always makes is don't say anything about it. Report it. Say nothing about it. Report it. And move on as though it's not happening. Those would be the big ones.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you got no control over that. So just keep rolling.
We have a question from Gels who asks, so I'm a Spanish-speaking streamer. My content is in Spanish. There are only 2 games on Twitch with a heavy flow of Spanish speakers, which are Fortnite and League. I do Smite, but in 2 years I've grown almost nothing. What are your tips on what to stream? Niche games or those big flow ones to get more transit?
I feel like that's probably not something any of us have a lot of experience with, but my thinking would be try to find active gaming communities outside of Twitch.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Bring those people to Twitch. And just also, whenever, for whatever reason, if I am plateauing, I just look like, what can I do to improve my content? Even if it's not going to directly translate to more viewers or whatever, then I have better content. And that's always a good thing. And it's a nice motivator for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's like foreign languages, like the non-English speaking streams is what I'll say. Like I'm not really familiar with like those communities. Like I don't know, like is it a completely different meta? Can you not just stream anything tagged as a different language? I think that discoverability is going to improve for people who don't have like English streams because of the tagging system.
Yes.
I think now it tags what language you're in, which will make people a lot easier to find you.
One interesting factor is the language restriction thing. Now, I'm hesitant to bring it up, even though I just did, because there are some factors involved there that I don't know exactly how it works. I remember this from Dizzy Disaster. Dizzy, if you happen to be in the chat, please speak up, because you could clarify this a lot. So at one point he started working, he incidentally started streaming alongside a streamer who does only Russian, a Russian streamer who speaks in Russian, streams in Russian, to a Russian community, right? None of this is surprising. And they were playing a game together, and they started co-streaming together, and that guy's got like 3,000 viewers or something, right? Like on the regular, like that's the standard. So then all of a sudden Dizzy started having tons and tons and tons of Russian viewers. They loved him. He didn't speak any Russian at all, none. He has since learned some Russian, but he played around with and started understanding more about the language restriction thing that you can select on your dashboard. You can choose to completely lock out anything that's not a specific language. So if you select the English only stream for myself, I think there are people who literally can't chat or watch your stream, which is very strange. Like even if they speak English, like that is not like, it doesn't read your mind to go like, oh, can you understand this language? Well, I don't know where the issue is.
I think it's like trying to use like AI or something to be like, whatever you're posting is not English, but obviously like it's not flawless. So if someone posts a meme that uses like Japanese characters or whatever, it's going to be like, you're not speaking English. You can't.
Or maybe if it's in their name, right? Because you see a lot of other languages in the like Cyrillic and kanji and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. So I would recommend not to have that selection on for being Spanish only, but I think you can select languages in the tagging system, can't you?
Yeah.
And so I think there are several like subtle things like that you can tweak or whatnot in order to try and maximize the effectiveness of having. Oh, another thing that you're speaking about the language thing that I have in my channel is we have a whole we have a command that has many of the primary languages that says please speak English only, or it's like English only channel or something. So we don't have restriction for like on the platform, but when people start posting another language, we're like, hey, this guy's a gringo, he can't understand what you're saying. Please keep it to English in a bunch of different languages, which is really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giles, going back to your question though, I would say like there's gotta be some communities that are Twitch streamers that speak Spanish. Like I can't name one because I've never thought about looking at them, but there's gotta be those out there. So I would definitely spend time networking and involving yourself in those type of communities, because I'm sure a lot of them will be able to help you and potentially make some friends in that community.
There are quite a few. There was a tweet that I made
there are
a while back. Yeah, Go on.
No, I was just saying, like, I know a couple of Spanish streamers. Like, I'm not super involved in their communities, but it seems like they're having fun at least.
Yeah, like I don't think I would have found Spanish-speaking streamers on accident very readily, but I put out a tweet a while back that was something like, like show me people who are doing interesting stuff on Twitch, because I wanted to, get ideas, get inspiration. Like, what is even possible? Like, I'm not going to figure out some of this stuff. And a lot of the replies that I got were people going like, hey, sorry that I can't really communicate with you. I don't really speak English much, but this is my stream, or this is somebody's stream. And there's a ton of Spanish streamers who suddenly showed up in that, who were like doing really interesting, cool stuff. I'm too bad with names to remember who they were, but I feel like the community is like seems pretty hefty. Like once you get into it, I mean, because obviously there's a significant portion of the world that speaks Spanish.
Yeah. Rita Van Graff asks, any advice for disabled streamers? I hope to one day get the partnership, but my concern is that with my spinal condition, I can't sit to do a stream for more than 3 hours at a time. Rarely I can go longer, but I usually end up with severe pain. Additionally, I have to take a break every hour. I'm concerned that I'll never be able to grow because of the frequent breaks and short streams. Any advice?
I don't think that. I mean, I know of streamers in a similar position who just basically stream around what they can. If you can only stream for 3 hours, but you want to stream more, maybe 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours at night, if you wanted to do it that way. Taking a break every hour is something that a lot of streamers do, disabled or not. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think that it should have to hold you back from your goals.
Yeah, I know a few streamers with similar type issues. I do know someone with a spinal injury, and they got a pretty expensive chair, and they said that helped them a lot with being able to sit for longer periods of time without pain. But yeah, I think a 3-hour stream is still a pretty good stream. There are a lot of nights where I only stream 4 hours or 3 hours if I'm busy. And if you're consistent and streaming 5-6 days a week at the same time, even if you're only on for 3 hours, that's pretty good, and you can still build viewership that way.
I would think if you could do some lateral thinking to creatively solve the problems, I think you could go a long way. I'm thinking like
you get a sit-stand desk too.
With that, yeah. I'm thinking like if you look at the immediate question, can you abstract it out a little bit? So like, I think it sounds like part of the question is not being able to stream long, and there's the breaks too. It all kind of ties in. Not being able to stream longer prevents me from growing as fast as I can. Well, it's definitely not the fact that you can't stream longer. You could move this out a little bit. It's that maybe you feel like there's not enough content. Do you have ways that you can create content to extend out the stream time that's not you actively streaming? If you can only stream for 3 hours at a time, do you have an extra hour in the day that you can also create content and maybe upload it as a premiere on Twitch and then show that after your stream? Like as soon as you're done streaming, be like, hey, and now we have special content that's here that you can only see by virtue of watching and you've already got the viewership from your 3 hours, and then that extends out into your premiere. Likewise with your breaks. And if you can't stream as frequently, can you create some way to have special events where you're putting in time off stream brainstorm and work your way through how can I make something more interesting to draw people in for my less frequent, less common streams that makes it more compelling, that makes people want to come back to the next one, and so on, right? Like some of the creative solutions, I think only really show up when you sort of abstract the problems out a little bit. And you're not like, how can I stream longer? But what is the real issue that I'm trying to solve?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, streaming is more than just like if you're just streaming and just streaming on Twitch, like there's so much more you can be doing with your social media. Instagram is very popular. Twitter is a great tool. How can you utilize these other tools with the content that you're making or that you want to make, and substitute, pushing that extra stream that's hurting you and putting that towards something else that can really help your stream. And with the frequent breaks, can you create some fun stuff in between during those breaks that are interesting for the viewers to kind of keep those people around? Because every streamer hates taking breaks. Like most streamers do not like to get up from their chair because people will leave if you're gone for more than 20 seconds. So, like a couple ideas is an interactive game that you just throw on, like that's like Twitch has extensions. So there's mini games, just throw that on during your break. Videos, like maybe like, hey guys, I created this 5-minute highlight video. Watch this while I'm gone. You see poker streamers do this because they have breaks every hour in their tournaments online. So they just be like, hey, I'm going to throw on this video during the exact time of the break, and it keeps people there. So those are a couple ideas for your breaks.
Can you make an ad for your own content? Like if you have like 10 different ads that are like a couple of, depending on how long you need to take breaks for, if you have stuff that shows people what else you do that you're not doing today, or the kinds of things that they can see if they stick around, the highlight type stuff, like you're already doing it, right? You're already making the content. If you just find ways to showcase that, then you're doing even more than somebody who's not taking breaks. I feel like it even creates a superior opportunity to show really good stuff to people who are there than somebody like me who's gonna take one break in a 12-hour stream like an idiot, and is hoping that the constant flow of content creation is better. Why not just show them the very best stuff? Like why am it almost feels like a waste of time now that I'm thinking about it, doing anything but that.
Yeah, I know that my BRB screen and my starting soon screen, they both have slideshows of pictures of my cat.
Yes, it's amazing.
And sometimes I'll get people who will be like, I clicked on your thumbnail because I saw that cat picture and it was really cute. So like I can bring in viewers even when I just have my BRB screen up and they see it. Also, I know someone who has really good food pictures on their BRB screen.
Dude.
And I always get really hungry and want to watch their stream whenever I see their BRB screen up.
You could do so much stuff with it. Like if you like nature photography, do you take pictures of stuff?
Yeah.
Like that's something that you talk about on stream? Show that. You got some cute pets that you're showing on Twitter all the time. Boom. I don't know anybody who doesn't like pets. And if they don't like pets, maybe it's not the stream for them, right? You can always work some kind of angle for yourself. Who are you? And how can you show that?
One more thing I'm going to leave you with are 2 links to past TwitchCon panels that specifically talk about streaming with disabilities. They will be able to relate and probably give you some more insightful advice. So I'm going to
talk about a powerful community too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Those people stick together. If you're not already deeply involved with disabled streamers, specifically streamers, also gamers in general, try and get out there and do that. There's one person, a friend of mine, that I would personally recommend getting involved with. His name is Steven Spawn. It's Steve IN Spawn on Twitter and on Twitch, I think. Steve. He is fantastic, and he has unrivaled, unparalleled personality and content as a disabled streamer. I would totally recommend finding that guy, reaching out, and networking in with them, with everybody in that kind of subset of the community. Fantastic people.
Sure. Revolver C asks, how do you guys manage to push through fatigue when you're streaming long hours, especially when you're doing a challenge like Spofie is?
Well, I guess.
And Hunter's been streaming like what 12 hours a day
Yeah,
for
Hunter's
like a year.
crazy.
Like Hunter is insane right now.
Yeah, I think that's two different kind of bears when it comes to just
Yes.
general how much you stream overall in a week or a month and how much you stream in a day. Like I only ever do 5-hour streams a day because I have like I do 40 hours a week or around that. And I stick to that because like I don't want it to become unhealthy.
Work-life
That
balance.
is smart moves right there. Please teach me your ways.
I try to stick to that. But I do 12-hour, I don't do 24-hour streams anymore because they're hard.
Yeah.
But I do 12-hour streams sometimes, and that's a whole different thing with a bunch of advice about meal prepping and, drinking a lot of water. Going to the bathroom.
Oh man.
Well,
Well, so-
I know that Revolver C, I'm pretty sure you work full time.
Yeah.
So that changes a lot of things.
Yeah, you have a unique version of fatigue on that.
Yeah. Because mostly like if I am really not feeling well, usually if I show up for a stream, I instantly get a lot of energy, a lot of adrenaline from being on camera, and that'll last for a while, especially if chat is like active. But at a certain point, I might start to get tired, and if I just feel like I'm not gonna pick up again, I just end the stream because it's not worth. I'd rather save my energy for tomorrow for a better stream than burn myself out and just feel like crap.
Yeah, I think it's good to like listen to yourself and how you're feeling. I'm a student as well, so if I have like a lot of exams on a day or something, I'm still streaming every day, but I'll be like, all right, guys, shorter stream. We're just gonna hang out for a little bit. Like it's gonna be a chill one. So just like you can listen to yourself and just be like honest about what you think the stream is gonna be like with your viewers.
Yeah, it's like marathoning isn't always a beneficial thing. Like
absolutely agree.
You need to know your limits, and it's something that Hunter and I have talked a lot about, especially when we talk about work-life balance, is like working smarter, not harder. Like 12-hour streams, like you may, if you're not looking at your statistics, then you're not gonna you're not realizing that maybe half of that time is like you're not even getting any growth. You're actually declining because your content, like the quality of your stream has gone down. The game selection is not good. Your audio's been muted. You never even noticed.
I feel personally attacked right now, Loco.
Wait, what? Have you done that?
No, but I can easily imagine that I would.
I mean, like Hunter, you've been doing this for a long time, and like you've been doing launch events. So I'd love to hear your perspective because you are someone that takes that stuff into consideration. Like you don't have the time to waste doing 12-hour streams that aren't benefiting the stream.
Case in point, I'm actually looking at downscaling them. I don't get. There's not a universal principle for streaming longer makes your stream more successful. I did at one point get caught in that trap. Fortunately, I didn't really actualize that. But I was seeing the ways in which always streaming for very long hours was always going to be better long time ago. It's definitely not true. It's absolutely not true. It is, and this through deep experience and also talking to a lot of other people who've done similar things. It is a quality over quantity thing through, and so Revolver, to your specific question of challenges, right? You're doing challenge runs and stuff. Well, not necessarily challenge runs, but the part of it, I want to sort of, I want to know more of, it goes back to the same thing of abstracting it. Like, what is actually the point? What are you trying to achieve there? If I would say that you could get more value out of it, like it might be definitively valuable if you're doing a challenge run in a game and you're going to and you have to stream for a longer period of time in order to achieve that. And you're going to take that, edit it down, put it on YouTube as well, and then post it up on your Twitch as well, and as a highlight. And then you're dropping parts of the challenge run on Twitter, Instagram, and on the Twitch comment system where you can like make little posts and point to things and say like, hey, here's a new video I posted up, whatever, all of those things. If you're doing one stream, that's a long one, and then you're using that to create all this other stuff that's going elsewhere, then I feel like you can get into a justification situation where you're like, okay, it does make some sense to really push myself on this and find ways to make it work. If you're not, there might be other ways to answer the question or hit whatever goal you're looking at that don't involve having to brute force it. Like that's the issue for me that I'm trying to circumvent. I work too hard without necessarily, I have been working too hard. I'm changing this without necessarily looking at whether or not I can be doing something smarter to hit my goals.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're having to push through fatigue, then like that's a problem in and of itself. Like you shouldn't be needing to feel like in any individual stream or any challenge that you're pushing through fatigue, because again, that's going to reflect on your content. If you're talking for like a long-term challenge, then doing some shorter streams. Like, what is your minimum stream time? Like, you know, you have to stream 3 to 6 hours a stream for it to count. Like, can you just knock out a shorter stream? Is the challenge actually beneficial? Like, if you're trying to stream for a year straight and it's that much of a struggle, is it really actually doing anything for your stream? Is it making you miserable?
Right.
Because then it's not worth even
That's a hurting more than helping
like
situation for sure. Because I think I definitely want to keep coming back to what is the point? Which sounds, you know, like it sounds like a poopy way of saying it, like, what's the point of even doing? But it really is like, what is the point? What is the goal? That presumably this is a thing that's attempting to achieve a goal. But it's so easy for us, especially as streamers, to confuse. I was talking about this the other day with Campbell's Law, to confuse the thing that you're doing that's supposed to be getting you to the goal as the goal itself, where just doing the challenge is the goal, but not looking at what that's trying to achieve. Because if you look at the final goal, you can then ask, is this doing better than what this other option is? Is that other option something that I can work with more easily? Or is there even a creative solution I haven't even thought about that's way over on the other side of that goal? You know, like, how do these things fit in together? Might be a more useful approach than how do I brute force my way through these types of challenges.
I think that like for me too, if I like approach a stream and I'm feeling like particularly tired, because we all have just days where we're feeling really tired, there are ways that you can remove parts of your stream that otherwise like cause you to expend a ton more energy. Like if I'm feeling really tired, sometimes I'll do a no camera stream where I'm like, we're just gonna play the game. I'll play a really low energy game. Like, you know, like there are ways that you can like have streams that address your fatigue and can still be good streams.
And I think you can also gamify some of this stuff. If, like, for me, part of my content is doing what I call sellout stuff, which I actually don't want to do. That's why it's called sellout stuff. Eating hot stuff, right? For instance, like that's a really easy and obvious one. That creates content. It also funds the stream. All that stuff kind of ties in together. If that is a priority for you and something that you already do, can you do something like have a tip goal challenge or a sub-point challenge for the week that creates an opportunity for you that you can take advantage of, where it's like, I'm going to use Face Rig for a 1 hour stream on this one day instead of what would otherwise be an 8 hour stream. It's weird. It's unique content. It's a strange little thing that people are going to probably flip out and love. And it ties into revenue generation for your stream, shortens the length, makes it weird and crazy, like all right. So that can be like things like that as problem solution tactics can be sort of an interesting approach.
To go back to an earlier question about hourly breaks, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. But I don't have cat pictures, but maybe.
Okay, that'll do it.
Perfect.
Substitute.
Is my mic on the fritz? I have no idea. It might be. Sometimes we use Zoom. Sometimes it wants to do its own thing.
Weird with the mic, I think.
Yeah.
Like it's fishboy sometimes. Fish boy. But you know, talking a little bit more about the challenge thing, Hunter and I, as we are working on creating a coaching assessment for the coaching that we're doing on Patreon. We've been talking a lot about goals and figuring out how to set goals.
Mhm.
And I think that ties in with the whole challenge thing because, what is Hunter says, what is the point? But it's like, what are your goals with the stream? Is doing that challenge contributing to that goal? Like,
Right.
if it's not motivating to do the challenge, then, maybe you need something else that would get you towards your goal, but might be a little bit more motivating.
So like Spofie, you were talking about like it gets you to stream. Like I feel like that as a solution to an issue makes wonderful sense. I don't know if motivation to get on stream is something that you would particularly struggle with outside of doing something like this. But if you're really good at meeting challenges, then setting challenges that solve other issues for you sounds like a great way to go about things.
Yeah, it kind of like for me, it just helped me because before, and this was like 2 years ago now, I guess, but before, I would have, this goes into like mental health and stuff, but like depression would cause like me to just like stay in bed for like inordinate amount of time, and then I'd be like, I'm not gonna stream. I've been in bed all day. I have stuff to do. But if I have to stream at 9 every night, I think like, okay, I have to go to the grocery store beforehand, and like I end up getting up and doing stuff, and it just kind of helped like get me to do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It helped a lot.
Another thing that I want to talk about that Grid brought up, and I think it's something that a lot of newer, smaller streamers face, is chatters, lurkers. It's something actually we spent an entire episode talking about, so we'll keep it brief because we had some really good talks. If Ahmad could find that link. But what are your thoughts on lurkers and getting them to interact more in chat? Well, my first thought is don't ever call out lurkers specifically.
Definitely.
So like don't pull up your viewer list and then be like, hey, you just came here, you never said anything. I'm gonna say your name.
Recipe for disaster.
It's really uncomfortable. So don't ever do that, first of all. But honestly, like the basics is like asking silly questions or talking about things that you're passionate about. Like, don't expect the chatters to be the ones, or the lurkers to be the ones to initiate conversation. Like, that's on you. So if you need to just monologue about your weekend or things you're passionate about, I usually talk about food. So I would just talk about things like, hey, chat, like, what does pineapple belong on pizza? Discuss. That will bring out people.
Yeah, I think
I avoid that one.
It's a polarizing one. That's good. That can be good. I think like one thing I've noticed too, a lot of people will like use, and I'm kind of against this because I think it can cause problems later on. But if you use like chatbot games that it gets people like using them, but then like if you have too many people using them, it can spam up your chat. So
you have to know where that line is. Yeah.
you have to be careful with that because some people will do that as a solution to not have lurkers, but then they're not really engaging with you.
It's artificial.
Your robot. Yeah.
I mean, it's at most a half measure, and I don't think that makes it useless, but I mean, it has value, but don't let that. I think, don't let it be a crutch, right? So I think there are a couple of things on this. I don't remember the exact nature of the original question, but I talk about the like narrative sphere. No, that's not there. I don't remember but they're little talkie spheres. We'll use that's a good one. Talkie spheres. If you're playing a game, immediately you can go through what you're doing right now, what you're going to be doing in 30 seconds, what your plan is for the next 5 minutes, what you expect to have happen in 30 minutes or an hour, or what are you doing over the next 7 days, right? You can sort of work your way out in terms of time for that. But I love the idea of having the interesting questions. And this is one of the things that you can do off stream to really capitalize on your on-stream time, is prepare types of questions, sets of questions, and interesting responses to those questions. Like there was a whole list of video game related ones that I used for quite a while, and I want to go back to it. You know, it's things as simple as, there are more interesting versions of this, but like, what's your favorite, video game villain, or who did you, relate to the most as an anti-hero or a villain, like not somebody who's the goody two shoes, and then some people will come out and start talking. Other people will read that and go like, oh, that's true. I didn't think about, and then you start, things like that can really start rolling, with it. What anime should I watch? Holy crap, watch the chat explode. Like that is and that's not artificial. Like I actually want to know, what, because I'm so outside of that realm. I'm like, what should I do if I wanted to get into, like, you guys know me, like, what would it, right? So things like that can start kicking it off.
Yeah, I know someone who would keep like sticky notes around their kind of like setup behind their computer.
I have sticky notes right now around my monitor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna link in chat, by the way, the episode that I'm talking about is with Lucid Fox and Nomac. It is really, really good stuff. It's literally called Cultivating a Chat Community, and talks in depth about the topic. So definitely check that out.
Good stuff.
All right, I think we have time for one more question here from gentleman Brian, who says, I think it's important to identify what kind of streamer you want to be.
Yes.
How long do you have to know what kind of streamer you want to be once you start streaming?
I feel like, I had no idea when I started streaming what I wanted to be. Like I said, I literally was just like, maybe people will watch me play Stardew Valley. And then people did. And then I think it was like the first week that I noticed like streaming games is cool, but I have the opportunity to create like a community here, and like really make that happen myself. And so I kind of knew I wanted to be like a community focused streamer, but even then, like it took me, like now I'm pretty focused on Sims and simulation games, but it took me at least 6 months to know that was where I was going to end up.
It can change too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, Twitch is changing, so like I don't know, it can be hard to, even if you have one thing you've been doing for 2 years, you might have to change it because you never know what's
absolutely.
Like, don't
So-
ignore it, but don't let it like stress you out too much, especially if it's not like you need to grow your stream right now. Just take some time, see what works for you, what you have fun with. Like my community, I call the Cat Cafe.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I didn't even know my stream was going to be about cats when I started streaming. And then like we kind of just started talking more and more about my cat specifically and everybody else's cats. And then one day I was like, wait, my stream should be called the Cat Cafe, Coruscating's Cat Cafe. It's perfect. And it wasn't like I'd been sitting there thinking about it. It just came to me.
I mean, I think you have a couple.
That's a really good point.
What's that?
No, I was saying it was a good point. I was gonna start talking, but you go first.
Okay. You got a couple of things, right? One, it's important to have. I'm intentionally avoiding using the word like vital or necessary. I think it's important to have an identity for your stream while maintaining a malleability for the surface elements so that you can change and keep up with stuff. But what allows you to, people can connect with you when there are reliable elements, consistent elements, and that can be the core identity of your stream, even if surface things change. I start doing launch events for AAA titles. I stop doing launch events for AAA titles. I start doing contests. I stop doing contests. All those things, like all of these surface elements can change like the wind, as long as people come in and they know roughly what they're going to get, what the attitude and atmosphere of the channel is going to be, right? And that is part of the identity. Much like with me, myself, I can change my beard, I can dye my hair, I can change my clothes. But when you talk to me, are you going to get the same person? Yeah, that's sort of part of the thing. Can I go to a fancy party in a tuxedo? Sure. Can I go down the street and slum it? Sure. Same person at the end of the day. You don't have to know going into it who you're going to be, what that is going to entail. And
I honestly
change.
Think it's very hard to like predict or plan that sort of thing. Like,
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
much of that is discovering as you go. Like when I started streaming, I know what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do it because of community.
Yeah.
But I didn't know all the memes that exist in the channel or the person that I become or the games that I play. I mean, that just happened after doing this, throughout the 4 years that I've been doing this. When I started streaming, I was very quiet, very, very timid. And now I'm like the opposite pretty much. And I've just like changed as a person. So I think someone touched on the fact that Twitch is always changing and streaming is always changing. There's no need to be like, I am this type of streamer. Like this is like 3 keywords about me. Like I don't even think that's necessary. I think it's just figuring out who you are and what works for you as you do it.
Some streamers really can incidentally get away with not ever clearly identifying what type of stream they want for themselves. I feel like it can accidentally happen because of who you are. You just end up flowing into having a stream that reflects what you would want if you did sit down and plan it. For me, I don't like taking chances. That's not my kind of jam. I literally I have documents from before I started streaming of crafting the type of stream that I wanted. What do I actually want to get out? Like it's a whole list of stuff that I did on 3 airplane rides out of 4. 4th when I relaxed. It's where I get my best work done. Planning out the type of stream that I want to have, which included the personality of the stream, the personality that I wanted to bring to it, things I wasn't willing to give up or sacrifice that were going to be necessary elements of the stream, philosophical discourse, things like that, being able to have real talk stuff. And that, for me, that was really important, but it would be a silly recommendation for me to say that everybody should do that. I think you can benefit from trying to plan it out, but
for sure,
could go backward. Because you can overplan that kind of stuff too and find yourself in a really bad position where you're like, oh, I have to be this kind of person because that's what I said I was going to be on stream. And then you're destroying the fun because you put too rigid a boundary on it.
I think it can depend too on like just who you are as a person, where you are in life.
Sure.
Like I started streaming when I was 22. Like I barely graduated college. So discovering what I want my stream to be about has been just as much discovering like what I want my life and myself to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think too, people are very resistant to change, and sometimes you can't let that stop you from making changes that you want to change. Because sometimes you'll shave your beard off, and a bunch of people will go like, "Oh, why did you do this?" But they'll get over it in like a couple.
I know.
It's like, just don't get too worried if you're trying to rebrand or make a big change and people are initially resistant. People just don't like change because they're people.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. Like if you're miserable playing Fortnite 24/7, even though that's like what got you popular, like that's like do what makes you happy. And like, I mean, you can definitely make changes without like sacrificing everything.
But speaking of necessary changes, it's about time that we have to wrap up the show, unfortunately.
Hunter, I'm so proud of you. Like,
well, see, it was my fear that you've done this. It was my fear of Loco sassing me into.
I was about to too.
But I was like, "Oh, what time is it? Oh, I gotta do it."
But Spofie, Corey, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Really
let's do some shout outs. Spofie, starting with you. Where can we find you on the interwebs and what are you streaming?
You can find me at www.twitch.tv/Spofie, or on Twitter at Spofie with 2 E's because regular Spofie was taken. And we stream mainly Final Fantasy 14, but we do variety from time to time as well.
Corey.
Okay. I am Coruscating. Most people just call me Corey because that's a bit easier. But you can find me as Coruscating on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram, just about anywhere. Also, my cat does have his own Instagram, Casper the Happy Cat.
Yep.
I recommend that. That's not even me. That's for you. It is very good. But I stream a lot of The Sims 4, other simulation games, and cute cat pictures.
It's awesome. Really cute. You should totally do this for your own sake.
I'm gonna have to check this out. I'm curious now.
Yeah.
Hunter, before we do shout outs, I do want to say we have another show after this.
Yes.
So don't go anywhere, guys, because Meg Cayley is actually going to be on our next show, Your Brand, Your Business, with Warbnull and Chickenators talking about charity streaming. and like
She
the
does a thing or
good
two.
like businessy things that you should know about charity streaming that you might not know about charity streaming that you should know about charity streaming.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that because that is going to be an awesome show, and that's literally going to start the second that I end the stream. So hang tight. Hunter, do your shout outs.
Twitch.tv/TheHunterWild. That's me. On Twitter, The Hunter Wild TV. Definitely go and follow on Twitter if you like anything remotely close to what I do, who I am, but with slightly less energy on Twitter because it's in text format. That goes a little bit better for some people. I saw like 3 people complain about my energy level and how much I talk. I was surprised.
Complain?
My pearls,
I don't think they're
platinum. I stream full on variety. I do a lot of streaming, but I'm trying to get better at it. Loco, what about you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Loco, LOWCO, twitter.com/Loco2525, and me and Hunter are Streamersquare. So if you guys like what we're doing here, follow us here. We've got a YouTube, we got a website, we got Twitter, we got Discord.
Patreon.
We have a Patreon that we just launched to help support what we do here. If you guys like these shows and you want us to do more of them, consider supporting us. Throw us $1 a month and help us make more of this awesome content to help you guys.
There's a lot of stuff over there.
There is. Check it out.
Streamersquare.
We got some really cool stuff. And if you guys are already signed up, it's going to be a fun month. We've got some stuff in the works.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to do it for us. But there's another show coming on literally right after this. Your brand, your business starts in just a minute. Thank you guys for tuning in.
See you guys over there.
We'll see you next week. See you guys.
Bye.